Hi, my name is Christina Chan, and I wrote The Fortune Teller. I heard of a cemetery. It's called Mount Hope. It's in Mattapan, where Chinese men from the 1800s were buried there. And the gravesite was really dilapidated. There are about 300 men buried there. And the Chinese community saw the grounds 25 years ago and said they must do something because in the Chinese culture, it is very disrespectful to have a person's grave site not taken care of. So they decided to build a memorial, and that was the start of an organization called the Chinese Historical Society of New England, and that is to preserve the history of the Chinese in America. When I heard the story about these grave sites dilapidated, I thought, who are these men? What are their stories? Viola Davis, she gave this fabulous speech, I forgot where, but she said, we've got to dig up stories that are buried. And I thought, there has to be stories here that need to be dug up about these men who never made it back home to be buried. But here they are in this country. What happened to them? So that was my inspiration. I didn't go and interview anyone whose family was buried there. I probably could, but their grave sites are taken care of if they have family. The ones whose gravestones are broken or on the floor, their family obviously doesn't even know that they're buried there, or maybe they can't find them, or something. There's a story there. The early Chinese men that came were for the gold rush. They heard about the gold, and at that time in China, there was a drought. And in this particular area of China, it was called Canton. It's now called Guangzhou, which is the southern part of China. And so they were able to hear about the gold rush because people from America and other parts of the world were going through their port. And so they decided, well, things are not good here, so we're going to leave our home to find our fortune there. And so they would hop on the boats illegally, and they would travel to America. Now these boats, they weren't supposed to be on, they were illegal passengers, so at every port stop, the captain of the boat could push a button and they could be flushed out to sea in case whoever was inspecting their boat for illegal cargo. So every time they stopped at a port, they could die, literally. So they came and they mined the gold. And then the Transcontinental Railroad needed workers, and so they advertised in China that they could come. So there's one man from who's buried there, and then I have a transracial, transnational adoptee. Her mother gives her up and in China, and she makes her way to America. So I have her adoptive mother in the play, the adoptee, and then the biological mother is also in the play. So Jade is trying to find out her identity because she wants to have children, and she doesn't know who her mother is. What are there any hereditary diseases? Because once you have a child, you want to be able to tell the doctor that. So she's struggling with that. And also, she's curious about her background, her Chinese background. So it's a search for history. Jade is an investigative journalist. So she has her investigative resources that she finds out, and then she also has a friend who gives her a very, very big clue to how she could find her mother. Because her mother is in China and Jade is here in the United States, and how do they find each other halfway around the world? So that's the big piece of puzzle that I am figuring out in this play. Yes, I'm very excited to hear how the story sounds, and I'm also a little nervous because I don't know how the story's going to turn out, and yeah,